What's going on, guys? My name is Misa on the keys, and welcome to the Talk to Me in English podcast. I'm super excited to have my first guest ever, and more to come, Dr. J.Isaak.
And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna talk to you in English. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yes, you are. Because the key to this podcast is I want you to break it down for us, the in plain English, how we can level up. Right? It's all about growth, and I feel like a lot of artists, entrepreneurs, it's too hectic. Right. So let's really dive in,
Brass tacks,
and let's get to it. So we're gonna start off with you, right? So let's get to know a little bit about you and what you got going on, because I know you got a lot of stuff going on.
Man.
You're always in the mix. So break that down to us. What exactly, who are you, and what is it that you do?
Thank you for having me. You know what I'm saying? This is only right. You dig what I'm saying? Because, I mean, like you were saying, we've had so many conversations, and I think I said before, if someone else had some sort of platform and they were saying, we would say, I'd subscribe. I'd subscribe. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
For sure. So,
and it's 2023. It's really now or never. Like that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
And we see so much during our daily that we're just like, bro, if we could just condense this to just a few words or a few sentences where people could really understand, hopefully we can help somebody not make certain mistakes and they can skip the 3-4 years of the hassle and pain that we've gone through. Because people say, well, where are you in the successful ladder? And I would say this ladder for everybody is super huge.
Well, the crazy thing about that is that a lot of people don't even set a place on the ladder. Like, a lot of people don't even really, set goals. A lot of people don't even understand that success is a lifestyle. It's a habitual thing.
100%. 100%.
And it's also relative. That makes it relative.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And I love the fact that today we get the chance to kind of break down what is that to us and what we see through our point of view.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? So let's start with the main thing, right? Like, because you're an artist, producer, engineer, bro.
A man of many skills, man of many hats.
You do so much. Everybody in New York knows you, and if you don't know J.Isaak, then you're not in New York. No, but on a serious note, you definitely move a lot. And it's good because you have a natural hustle in you, which is beautiful. Like, nobody has to tell you to get up and let's get to the grind. Like, you go ahead and you make things happen. Whatever you have to do to put things together, you'll do it. And there's a few people that I've met in my lifetime that do that naturally. That they don't have to wait for somebody to push them and say, hey, bro, listen, like, you could be doing this and that. So talk to me about like first of all, like, your day-to-day and like your mindset. Let's start there, right? Because at first it takes the mindset, and then we're like, all right, now it's time to take action. So talk to me about that. What's your mindset?
I really appreciate you asking that, because like, that's the first thing. Intention. I like to think that, like, intention is our first language. You know what I mean? Everything, like, art starts with intention. Art itself is just a language and a tool, you know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, I find that, like, being very intentional just helps me to be able to, like, really look at what I'm doing as I'm doing it, you know? So, like, one of my mentors introduced the concept of having, like, core values to me, which is something that I really hearken in on and live my life according to. So I got my core values and my sub values, and those things basically help me to be able to discern between opportunities and distractions, because they look really similar. They look a lot alike. They're twins. Fraternal.
No.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, my core values revolve around three things, right? Which is entertainment, technology, and education. And then my sub-values revolve around fashion and hospitality and nightlife. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, everything that I do in my life
has to fit within that.
You know what I'm saying? Now, those categories within themselves are huge categories. And, growing up, there was one principle that I developed and kind of learned myself, which was just because I can't play in the arena doesn't mean, just because I can't play on the court, that doesn't mean I can't work in the arena. So
hold on, break that down for us. Break that down.
I'll say that one more time. Just because I can't get on the court, that doesn't mean I can't work in the arena. Meaning, just because I can't do the exact thing I'm looking to do, doesn't really mean I can't do something in the same field or in the same wheelhouse or in the same genre. You feel?
Yes,
We're
yes.
putting down, and that's the thing.
Now, give us a daily example, right? Because I feel like, especially for those who are watching, especially if it's people in the creative field.
No, for sure.
Field, like most people want to be the star.
Right.
Right. They want to be the
that's
one.
a whole nother conversation within itself, because that within itself is a problem. But we'll talk about that.
Right.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But what you're saying is, hey, listen, just because you can't be necessarily at that time.
Right.
At that time.
At that
because
time.
when your time comes, your time comes.
Right.
But at that time, you're saying that just because you can't be the one performing on that stage doesn't mean you can't be in the backstage working on other things.
And that's the thing. And because it's all about, how much your environment plays a role on like who you are. Another one of my mentors said that your environment is more powerful than your willpower.
Oof.
You feel what I'm saying? Like I got one mentor. He's been married for a very long time, and if you ask him and you say, "Man, how was you able to do that?" Well, he said, "I created an environment that was conducive for my marriage." I.e., you know what he does? Him and his wife work together, and he brings her everywhere.
Nice.
They're with each other all the time. There's a business meeting gotta go to. You gotta fly out. Well, she's right there. Da, da, da. Why? Because she's in the business, a valuable part of the business. Like to the point now where he can't run the business without her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I've been really into creating or finding environments conducive for who I am, just as a person. And like I only know to do that because I was born and I was raised in that kind of environment. I was raised in an environment that was conducive for, my creativity. I was raised around entertainers and entrepreneurs. So like that's just the spirit that was given to me.
Now for those who they were not necessarily raised in that, in that area, right?
Yeah.
But it's something that you would recommend to start implementing in their business or in their lives, so they can start kind of like nurturing that.
Oh, I got you. Off rip. Because this is what I tell a lot of people.
Okay.
I say this, right? I say, look, right, once you know what your core values are, because that's the first part, because that's ultimately you.
Right.
So it's almost like saying, once you know who you are, right, and what you want to do, think about it. What do you want to do? Now, where are the places that the thing that you want to do are happening? Okay, cool. Now that you know where those things are happening, now you go to those places, right? And you meet the people who are there, who are further along in doing the things that you want to do, right? And then you just go and you ask, you introduce yourself and you ask them and you say, "Hey, my name is such and such. I do such and such. How can I help you?"
So value first.
Because here's the thing. I know that when I go to those spaces and I meet those people who are doing those things that I want to do, and I ask them, first of all, no one has ever come to them and asked them that. I know that off rip. I know that. So when I come to them, I say, "Hey," before, like I said, I introduce myself. I say my skill set. Then I say my relevant skill set. Then I say, how can I use that skill set to help you based upon where we are, this environment, right?
Wow.
And then, because I know that in the process of helping them, like, I'm going to learn. And then not only that, but they're going to want to help me because more often than not, they're probably within a legacy, a frame of their career. People who are like in their 40s, 50s, 60s are in legacy parts of their career where they're looking for people to instill the things that they've learned.
100%.
Right.
100%. Wow, that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. And they will jump at that. They'll be like, "Huh, you can." I wish my own child would ask me the questions you asking me right now.
Yes. Yes.
You feel what I'm saying? You dig what I'm saying?
Bro, you're literally speaking my childhood.
But that's what I'm saying. and they'll invest in you, whether it be money, their time. First of all, the most important thing that they can invest in you is their time.
Yeah, I believe it. 100%.
I saw this meme though the other day because there was this whole thing of, they were like talking, like it was like Jay-Z, and he was like, it was like a whole thing on Twitter, and they were like, oh, Jay-Z was talking about, oh, would you rather have a dinner with Jay-Z or take $500,000?
Yeah, I saw that.
Right. What do you take?
Oh, the time, because at the end of the day, at least from my opinion,
Right.
the way I see it is, there's one thing that I know that, at least for me, I know how to extract information from people, and then get the answer that I need, so then I can move forward to the next level.
And that's the thing. That is the thing. You got to know the right questions to ask
100%.
in that space. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
To not like squander on that. And
you don't want to waste time.
Exactly.
Time is more valuable than money. So if I'm able to spend 20 minutes with a person and get the right information I need, that's it.
Right.
That was worth $500,000.
Right.
Have you ever heard about the story, right, of the guy? Going back real quick. So there was a story of a company. Their computer got messed up, right?
Okay.
And in order for them to fix the computer, it was like a whole mess. Like there's a whole mess of wires and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get back to work, right? They tried everything. What they did was they called a guy, like an IT guy.
Okay.
He came in, he looked at it, and he said, yeah, I could fix that. And then they said, okay, how much is it going to be to get it fixed? He said $1 million. And they said, $1 million? Like, that's a lot of money for you to fix. I was like, how much is this information worth to you guys? It's like, well, I mean, a lot. Like, we have a lot of customers. You know, it's a big company. I was like, well, it's going to cost you $1 million.
Right.
So they wrote him a check for $1 million. Boom. He literally opened the computer thing, fix a little screw.
Right. It was just something simple that he knows.
That he knows.
Right.
He closed it back up. Everything started working again.
And and that's.
And then he grabbed his check and walked out.
He walked out, man. And see, that whole principle right there. There's a principle in that, and you know what the principle is?
What's the principle? Talk to me.
The principle is knowing your value.
Knowing your value. That's 100%. If anybody gets anything out of this video right now, is that you have to know what your value is. Right. And sometimes you might not know your value is. Some people, just like you said earlier, you don't know who you are, so you have to find yourself.
Right.
But in the process of finding yourself, you have to take a dive in different things, right? You have to try different things. Don't be afraid to try new things. Yes, that hump is crazy. Right. There is a crazy hump to the learning and the
learning curve. That's what that hump is,
bro. It's insane. But I realize it's like, I don't care how many times I gotta go through that hump. It's so much. There's so much value behind.
Right.
And then now I come to you and I say, all right, listen, I can fix it for $1 million, and all I have to do is just screw something.
It's because you took the time to get over that learning curve.
Yes.
That part where you have to apply patience that other people won't, you know?
Bro, I know a lot of people that just hearing the word patience and the word sacrifice, they want to cry. You know, they want to cry because they're like, oh, no, don't talk to me about that.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, I'll put it to you like this. Listen, I'm an artist first. I am an artist first, right? And I love what I do so much and have so much patience and willing to sacrifice so much that I'm willing to put my own artistry to the side to be able to give it what it needs.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's why, like, I found myself being, a multi-hyphenated, multidisciplinary creative because, like, it's not even that I want to do all the things that I do. Because I have the ability to, but it's not that I want to. It's almost because I have to, because no one can afford to pay me to do one thing.
Talk crazy.
Because I know my value.
Talk crazy.
You feel what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're talking about,
That's what
bro.
I'm saying.
And that's why I understood that in the business that we're in, you got to know a little bit of everything.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I can engineer, but I will never take away the value of a true engineer.
A true engineer.
Of a true engineer.
Right.
I can produce. I can, let's say I can grab a camera. I can do all these amazing things. And I can get creative with it.
And that's the thing.
But I would never say I'm a photographer. And I would never say I'm a producer. Like in full, because the truth is that there's people out there who wake up, only produce, and go to sleep. And that's great.
Yeah, no.
But in this business, I'd rather know a little bit of everything and understand exactly how the business works than just know one thing and stick to it, because then people will only call you for that one thing. And I know certain people will say, well, listen, yeah, you can charge high for that one thing.
It's like, man, because we were just talking about this. There's two reasons why people buy into a quote unquote brand, right?
Right.
Where it's like, either you create a product that is so amazing and so niche that people have to come specific to you for that product. Like let's say you develop a style, like if you're a photographer and you develop a style of shooting and editing that is so, specific to you and right. Mm-hmm. But let's say there's other people who it's like people just really mess with them. So it's almost like, whether it be a video, whether it be graphics, whether it be just the editing, whether it be the whatever it is, they're going to come to you because they mess with you and your brand. You're able to translate your brand into multiple variations, multiple versions of it, and carry the same aesthetic and energy behind it, no matter what it is, whatever the product is. And that comes with knowing yourself, though.
Of course. Yeah. I believe that 100%. You gotta know yourself, but in the like I said, in the middle of and finding that true self, it's all about experimenting. Right, You got to experiment. You got to try new things. You got to try things that you're like, do I really want to do this? I just, like, some people would say, I just want to be an engineer, or I just want to produce, or I just want to be an artist. So I'm like, yeah, but if you don't know how the other pieces work,
right,
you're gonna get screwed.
Well, you know what it is? See, they're experimenting. They're not exploring. And the difference between experimentation and exploration is preparation. You dig what I'm saying? Because like in a science experiment, we don't know what's finna happen. We finna just throw these chemicals together and see what kind of reaction they have.
Right.
But in exploration, that's like Lewis and Clark. See, they took certain measures and certain things where it's like, hey, we ain't never been here, so we gonna make sure maybe we with someone who can kind of survey the land and knows what's going on, i.e., Sacagawea. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that's the difference, though. It's like preparation. And you know what? And a lot of artists don't realize it's like this is the difference between having a drop and having a rollout.
Yeah.
Listen to that.
Talk to me about that. Talk to me about the differences, like in more detail, for those who are looking to either release a record or an album or a project, like, because people they hear drop, release, this, that. They hear all these.
They get caught up in the words that the media and PR make up to say things, and it's like, yo, listen to the words that I just said. It's like there's a drop and then there's a rollout. Just like literally visualize that. What does a drop look like? Unprepared. You drop something out your pocket. Feel what I'm saying? What does a rollout look like? You roll out the red carpet because you know who's finna come. I'm just saying.
I wish I had the button.
Don DeMarco. But you feel it's and that's the thing. And honestly, as an artist, working on so many other sides of the industry, where I found myself one, managing artists of different disciplines. Like I manage people who paint. I manage people in the art. I'm in the art world. I manage people who are sculptors, and we're gonna talk about that. That's a whole other conversation. The art world. That's a whole other conversation. But you know, I manage some, you know, some recording artists and like as an artist. But it's because, you know, people were looking at me and how I was moving and being like, yo, I see that you, and it's like,
and then we hit it with the
with the because you already know what I'm finna say.
Yeah.
You gotta,
this is good.
You know, you gotta have a plan. And no, you know what? There's a difference between having a plan and having a strategy. And that's why I've always rocked with you, bro, because you've always been so strategic, you know? Like there's a reason and a logic and a method behind the madness, you know? And it's like a plan, you know, that a lot of times that relies on hope, which is important, right? But to me, hope without action is just, you know what I'm saying?
We just rolling the dice at this point.
You're just rolling the dice.
We
just rolling the dice. And honestly, I'm trying to meet God halfway. You feel what I'm saying? I hate when people be like, "Oh, are we just gonna wait on no?" Like, no. Pray and do. Pray and do something about it.
Yes.
You know why make your angels work overtime?
Ooh. Yo, this guy who just took us to church, right?
I'm saying.
No, but you're 100% right. You're 100% right. There's a lot of people like, yo, there's people that will come in and it's like, oh, you know, I'm just waiting for the perfect time.
Yeah.
But you're back at home playing Call of Duty.
Right.
You can't wait for the perfect time and not do anything about it. You have to create it. Okay.
Well, I actually have a question for you, man, because you like me, you work with a lot of artists and you know, but you're a creative yourself, and like, I personally, I'm gonna keep it a whole 100 stacks. And I know the reasons why this has started to happen for me, but I'm curious if this has started to happen for you at all. And honestly, there's been just a slight, ever so, like, just a bit of what I would call, you know what? It's like a little bit of resentment. A little bit of resentment towards a certain attitude that I see a lot of artists take. Not artists themselves, because I am an artist, so I understand the mentality. It's just like a certain mentality. You feel what I'm saying? And
with
like,
artists.
With artists. And I know there's a lot of things that have to play into, you know, people's like mental health right now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Being, you know, we're still seeing a lot of the effects of COVID. We're still seeing a lot of effects of just a wonky economy. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's almost given artists like an aura of entitlement.
Yes.
But it's like a lot of, even though we live in an information age, I still see a lot of ignorance and then entitlement at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
So now this is the thing, bro. There's a lot of people that still believe that just the music itself is going to take them there, right? So they forget about everything that's going on in the world, and they're like, well, my music is everything. Music is life, right? And then you got to come to realize that there's about like 16 different things that have to come together to make you work as an artist, as a creator. Some of them, you know, and we talk about this with the team, especially when we're building an artist. We talk about this all the time. You got money, you got time, you got resources, team, you have it's in my notebook. Shit.
Yeah, it's okay. But I feel what you're saying, because that's where a lot of the resentment comes from seeing how people squander the resources that are already available to them, i.e. being time, i.e. being information.
And that exactly. So now this is the issue, right? The issue is that
we're not even talking about money yet.
No. We're not talking about money, but it's just like all the different things that have to come together, for certain things to work. But they feel a certain way because they still feel like we're back in let's say maybe 2018 or 2017,
right
before
like
things,
the way that the industry was set up then, where it's
like
like you get you get written up by the right blog.
things might change.
You know what's crazy? A lot of those people who works for those blogs, they were all artists. That's facts.
Yeah. I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens all the time. People that want to come to work at the label, to work at the studio, is always like, oh, yeah, I make music too.
Yeah, because they were the people, you know what, and because this goes back to what we were talking about before, and I was going to make this point, because you just reminded me, and it's the questions. It's the questions that people, I highly judge people based upon the questions that they ask. Because the questions that you ask determine who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Because they're what you know to be answers, which is how you live your life. So if you don't ask the questions, whose fault is that? If you didn't even, like, it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yep, no, 100%.
And if I only tell you the answer to the things that you've asked,
then that's all you got. That's all you got. You didn't ask the right questions.
you didn't ask the right questions.
So
Which is why you can go to dinner with Jay-Z and make $1 million.
Exactly.
Right.
Because
you know you do right questions.
First of all, I'm gonna make sure I'm prepared, and I go by these 5 P's, right? And my team knows this.
5 P's. Write this down.
We talk about this every day.
Every day.
Is the proper preparation prevents poor performance, right?
Run that back. Proper
preparation prevents poor performance.
I'm gonna get that tatted.
Yo, I yell it out all the time.
Hey,
because this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
I have a lot of artists. They'll come straight to us. They're like, "Hey, I want to release a song tomorrow. Or I want to release a song next week." And oh no, because my fan base is waiting for you. I was like, hold on. Yo, bro, listen. Nobody's waiting for you.
nobody.
You got 30 people that like and comment your shit.
Right.
You don't have something yet to say, all right, listen, my business depends on this.
Yeah.
So let's create it proper. Let's prepare this properly.
Prepare it.
Let's prepare a rollout.
A rollout.
Like let's actually set up your foundation of your business. Because if you don't set up the foundation
It's
of the
just
business.
hustle. It's a hustle.
Exactly.
Right.
Because this is the thing, right?
Talk to me.
You don't want to work with nobody who's not popping, right? As an artist, it doesn't make any
that
sense to you.
happens.
No,
I mean,
but what I'm saying,
for sure.
as in, like, let's say he was charging $1,000, right?
You gotta,
Well,
you
you
gotta
pay-
have some numbers.
Well, you got- It just makes sense. It doesn't matter if he could. It doesn't matter if he could throw the best bars. You are not paying $1,000 for that feature. Am I right or am I wrong?
Right.
Okay. So, if I know that as a creator or just somebody that is going to spend the money, if I understand that people are not going to pay me until the numbers come in, and the numbers come in from building a fan base that is willing to pay. So now we talked about the mindset of the artist, right? And the thing is that most artists right now, they're thinking that, everything that's happening around them,
Yeah.
it's so much that they can't handle. It's almost
Right.
like, oh my gosh.
I mean,
right?
yeah.
So it's like, build a business, stabilize the foundation, set up the foundation,
Right.
right? And then from there, start focusing on what?
Well, what I think happened is that it's not really 100% the artist's fault, because they've been sold a narrative where they've been told it is a big numbers game, but that's a lie. It's not. It's actually a small numbers game. Right. Because if you got 100 people who love you so much, they'll spend $50 to $100 on your products and our services in a year, then that's income you can bank on. That's something you could build a base off of.
That's business.
And that's business. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, one, I feel like artists need to really start looking at themselves as small businesses. And once they start doing that, then that's when they'll start asking the right question.
You gotta get to a point where you gotta say, fuck it. If you want something to change in your life, you have to create the change. You can't wait for somebody else to push you to the next level. If you're not gonna take action, you might as well just pass it on to somebody else, right?
Right.
I'm gonna give you a perfect example, right?
Okay, talk to me.
So when COVID hit, right?
Yeah.
Of course the business hit. Everybody got hit.
Yeah, right.
But in the middle of the hecticness,
Okay.
right? I said to my wife, I was like, yo, we got to do something else because I'm like, yo, this shit is getting crazy. Like, business pretty much not running. We're at home. We're stuck. So it kind of gave me time to think and say, you know what? I got to get out of my shell, right? I'm used to being locked in the studio and just, you're in a dark room for like 14 hours
The hyperbolic time chamber.
Right.
Right.
Not for nothing, but I loved the experience. And I still love the experience of being in the studio. And we're always in the studio. But at that time, I started thinking about like, my life and expanding, right? So, and the reason I'm gonna go why I'm explaining to you this story in a little bit, but the story goes like this, right? At that time frame, I was thinking about what other business I can, tack on because I said, all right, I can't rely. The COVID-19 showed me that I can't just rely on
this one stream.
Right. Or in this side because this side has a couple streams, but I can't rely on this because it really got hit really bad.
Right.
So I started expanding and started realizing like, okay, let me do some other research. So it just happens that right next to the studio, there was an open space, right? The Ferret.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So one day, I simply just went on Google and I searched for different businesses, and one of the businesses for space was a juice bar, right? So I said, juice bar. That's dope. You know what I mean? And I started doing some market research, right? And I started realizing, okay, there's not many juice bars right now, but the demand is getting higher and higher and higher. It's not where it needs to be, but if you look at the charts, you start realizing, the way it's moving, it's increasing.
I'm not gonna lie. I used to live in Brooklyn, and when I was in Brooklyn, there was a juice bar. I used to go there every day.
But over here, it's not. It wasn't as like famous juice bar, whatever. So, point is, I said, okay, I literally went on Google and typed up how to build a juice bar. And the first 10 things that Google told me, that's exactly what I did.
Hey, and that's the thing. You was asking all the right questions.
But because I said you can't overcomplicate the situation.
Right.
Straight to it. That's why.
How do I do the thing?
I need it in plain English. How to open up a juice bar.
So how valuable would you say to you would have been someone that you would have met that had opened a juice bar before?
How valuable was it?
How valuable? Like if you were given the opportunity to talk to somebody,
very valuable. In fact, I had
would you pay money to talk to
that
person? Of course.
In fact, I did. In fact, I did.
Oh, you did?
In many different ways because I went to other juice bars. I set up consultations with certain people.
Really?
With people who are in the food business because I'm in the music business and the food business. So
it's all service.
Right. So now you got to think about, okay, you got certain things in this business that you have to that you have to take care of. That in the music business, you don't even got to worry about. It's like what? Right. Nobody's paying attention to that, but.
Even though they should.
But this is the thing, though. The thing is, if you truly want something, you're willing to open that box and really dig it deep. And if you're not willing to dig deep, then it's just leave it.
And how do you dig deep?
By simply asking questions, right? No, asking questions. Using your ability to type. If people don't like talking to people, type and Google it.
Right.
Okay. And then, like, for example, with the juice bar.
Yeah.
If step one says go to your town, right, and get the permits. When I went to go get the permit, right, I asked them questions about building a business in the area and how's the process works.
Other things that you
need a contractor. You need this. You need that. Okay, I didn't know I had to pay $2,000 for somebody to draw up how I want the space to be because I'm thinking
even
the architect you got to pay.
And you're learning.
So I'm learning as I'm going.
Right.
Most people want to buy every fucking course they can find.
Right. Before
they make a move.
So then the question is you yourself, how do you get over the feeling of insecurity that comes with being ignorant?
Oh, that's
You know what I'm saying?
It's the thing you got to tell yourself is either now or no. It's literally that natural push. Listen, I could sit here and motivate you.
Right.
I could sit here and tell you,
if
bro.
you're not,
but if you don't go back home and open that laptop or start making those phone calls and start taking action, it does not matter what I tell you.
Right.
It does not matter. Because if you, like, for example, I know people who have bad credit. Right?
Right.
Because I've had bad, I fucked my credit up so bad that I was like, oh shit, this is never gonna come back up. And it's possible.
Right.
All I had to do was just take the fucking time to sit down and call my creditors. It's as simple as like taking the time to say, how much do I owe you? Okay, let me write this down. Can I do a payment plan? Okay, no problem. And write it down. And next thing you know, you realize, oh shit, my shit went up 30 points. Oh shit, it went up 50 points. Oh shit, I gotta get approved for this.
I get approved for whatever.
And then you realize, oh
right.
shit, I got 40,000 here. Oh shit, I got 20,000. And then you understand, like, it wasn't so bad. It's just a matter of you taking action. If you don't take it really just comes down to taking action.
Action, I feel like it's three things. It's like action,
right.
responsibility, and accountability.
And accountability, because nobody's gonna hold your hand.
Right.
You know, I see a lot of short form content where nowadays like people are posting on social media like, take accountability and do this, and that's great. You're giving a lot of people a quick like here bow. But the truth is, because we have so much content passing by, if they don't stop and actually say, all right, you know what, you're right, let me go.
Digest it.
Digest it.
They watch it as entertainment, not as a tool. Like,
right.
Oh, this is a thing that I need to do. Let me go do that. They're watching it like, oh, I'm just on Instagram for 15 minutes sitting down.
Let me just check on what's going on.
Oh, that was
like if you actually
took
this, like let's say you took this clip right now. Let's say we grabbed this clip. Right. And I tell you in this clip, focus on your shit. Stop what you're doing and go and check your credit.
Right.
And actually start don't call today. Just get the phone numbers. Write it down.
Just get the phone numbers.
Start step one.
Right.
Get the phone numbers. Write them down. Organize them. And then set up a calendar date for tomorrow. And your availability to call and start putting things in place. If you took this short form and actually stop, don't scroll again.
After you saw this.
But now if you scroll again,
right,
you already forgot about this shit. That's it. It's done. It's done.
Right.
Because now Beyonce is about to hit you with something.
Yeah. Or you see that new Drake meme. Right.
And you get hit with so much. You know, that's the beautiful thing about social media, but that's the worst thing about social media.
Right. We
get hit so much with shit that, like, for example, what I like to do is, because I see a lot of value content.
Value content. Content of value.
Yes, at least for me, that I'm like, oh, this is something really, I could take into my business. Right. I could apply it. What I do is, because again, we get hit with so much shit that I carry a 5-subject notebook. Right, my no, like I'm not lying. I literally have it right there.
Trust, I
carry a 5-subject notebook.
Yeah.
And that's where I manage. It's right there. There you go. Thank you, Phoebe. Shout out to Phoebe. And I pretty much break down my businesses in subjects.
That's how you got to do that.
And every time I have an idea, a thought, or just a game, I just boom. Bam. Forget about the notes on your phone. Forget about all this fancy shit. Just get straight to the basics, right? Because if you can't work on the basics, then nothing else is gonna work out for you. It's like I was having the conversation with my brother the other day where he was like, "Yo, it's just as simple as waking up in the morning and doing your bed."
You got it.
You know what I mean? Like he was like, "Yo, bro, I started doing my bed, and it's like for 30 days, and it's like you start now it's just becoming a routine. It's just natural. Like you start open now when you open your room, the door to your room, you're like, you feel better,
right?" And I say that I really do not leave, like, because when I leave my crib, I'm gone for like 2-3 days. I'm not gonna lie. So I need to make sure that certain things are in certain spots. There's no dishes in the sink. There's no just certain things are in place, so that when I come back from whatever I just did, I could just.
You need that, bro.
Cooling, and that's so important.
But it starts little by little. Yeah. You know what it comes down to, bro? It just starts by showing up.
Right.
You know, I always say this to team and just to anybody that I meet. It was like, yo, 80% of your success is gonna start by just showing up. Just show up. I try my best every time I sit down with an artist to change the way they think, because when they first come in, they're first talking about, what can I do to get my music out? It's like,
Right.
before that, hold on, bro.
They're thinking about the food.
Yeah, it's like, first of all,
But what do we call the dish?
bro, what are you even selling to the market?
Right.
Because most of the time they make music and they don't even understand that the music is just a tool to package the emotion, that's what you actually sell.
Right.
So you sell that's what we do for a living as artists and creators. We sell emotion. We just package it with just like a painter.
Right.
They package that emotion through paint.
Right.
So then once
That's
you
how they digest it. Is
Right.
through that medium. Yes.
so once they package it there, then you go into the packaging of the brand.
Right.
Because imagine a water bottle with no branding, right? You're just gonna be like, oh, this.
Would you get this from the fountain?
Yeah,
Like,
right. But then
the
once you
faucet?
once you put the branding,
it's Poland Spring.
right? Oh, it's Fiji.
That's Voss, baby.
And now we just changed the value
The
perspective.
value perspective because of the
Now,
branding.
now you wanting to pay that $4 or $5 versus paying the dollar just
Right.
because it's features, because it's
It's
this
got a
that.
nice bottle. It's got a nice logo.
So it's like, if you
Right.
understand that and you really take account that just because you do music, that doesn't mean you're far left. No, it's the same thing. It's business.
Right.
Package that right. Go through distribution, go through marketing, but then what happens after marketing? You don't just want marketing get a bunch of eyes and nothing. No, let's now generate some sales.
Right.
Right?
Let's convert some eyeballs.
Exactly.
Right.
So, bro, listen, I'm gonna leave it here because if we continue going,
Because we're gonna start giving the keys out if we keep on right now.
It's crazy. But any final things you want to say to anybody watching before we wrap up?
I'd say just to anybody watching, like, listen, make sure you know and you understand your core and maybe sub values. Sub values are necessary when you have too many to fit into your core. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's how you be like, all right, nothing in my core values is hitting right now. Cool, I'm gonna go to my sub values. You know what I'm saying? And those things will help, like, basically help determine who you are. And if there's one thing that you gotta know in order to play this game, it's who you are. So you don't sacrifice or compromise on that.
Super deep, my brother. Listen, I appreciate you for taking the time to come out. Thank you for giving us the game, because it's super important that we drive this information to the ears of people who are serious about this game, who are serious about the business of music, who are serious
about investing in themselves. Investing in themselves.
So powerful.
You can't be scared to invest in themselves.
No, it's super key. It's super key.
Yeah.
And once again, bro, I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to definitely having a part 2.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's so much that we still got to talk about.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna get on a phone call after this and be like, "Yo, bro, we got to talk about."
Thank you again, brother. All right, and guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you like it, subscribe. Click on whatever button is available, and I'll see you guys somewhere. And I'll definitely see you guys on the next video.